You know it's sad when a Democrat that works for the ACLU is now changing their minds with regards to this transgender mess. So let's talk about it on the I'm Free Project. All right, y'all, this is James from the I'm Free Project. So let's like, tweet, share, and all that good stuff with this video. Because here's the deal. I was reading some stuff today, and again, it goes back to the fact of the matter of they will like to play the victim, but when women feel threatened in a bathroom because there are some grown-looking men up in a bathroom and your young daughters are walking in there, you know there's an issue, but yet you're the one that's talking like you're the victim, like you need some protections and all that, but yet you have a president that's talking about the protection of transgenders. That's some straight foolishness. Anyway, so this is what recently happened. And see, this is the part that the news will not tell you about. The news will not report on something like this. Recently, a woman, her by the name of Dillard Smith, and she's the interim director of the Georgia chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union, or the ACLU. And if you know anything about the ACLU, it's ran by demons. I don't know how else to say it. But the ACLU, they will go to court if you squashed a gnat, and they find somebody to fund some foolishness like that. But man, I'm telling you. So this lady, who is a liberal Democrat now, she's a liberal Democrat. Now she is having a change of mind with regards to this transgender stuff because she recently had an experience with her and her daughters in the restroom and some teenage transgenders that were over 6 feet tall came into the restroom. And let me tell you what she said, and from this article, I'm going to read this because it is so good, and it's so apropos to what is really going on. So she had a frightening experience with her daughters, and the transgender men came into the women's bathroom now. And so she says, I have shared my personal experience of having taken my elementary school-aged daughters into a women's restroom when shortly after 3 transgender young adults over 6 feet tall, 3 young adult transgenders over 6 feet tall with deep voices. So that means you're a big old grown man looking like a girl coming into my, what's up? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? And I have all sons. I have nothing but boys. But I'm telling you, if my wife was in the restaurant and she came out telling me that I ain't gonna even say it on film because you ain't gonna get you to indict me. But let some grown man come walk in the bathroom when my wife is up in there. I don't care how much makeup you got on. You better gird yourself, bro. That's all I can say. You better gird yourself. So anyway, so she said they're over 6 feet tall with deep voices entered. My children were visibly frightened, concerned with their safety, and left asking a lot of questions for which I, like many parents, was ill prepared to answer. How much more evidence do you need to show how foolish and stupid this transgender bill stuff is? I mean, it is, I can't believe that we're having this conversation. And I'm spending the time to sit here and talk about it on YouTube. But anyway, but yeah, so I'm just wanting to share the deal. But when you have someone from the ACLU, one of the most liberal organizations out there, almost like the HRC, the Human Rights Campaign, I mean, they, for this person to say, I have had a change of heart, I'm thinking about this now, it's like, this doesn't make any sense. And then she goes on to say that, okay, and they wrote in the articles like Dillard Smith complained that the ACLU has become a special interest organization that promotes not all but certain progressive rights, and that the hierarchy of rights the ACLU chooses to defend or ignore is based on who is funding the organization's lobbying activities. Now, how common does that sound? The more money whoever's giving the most money, that's who's going to give us, that's who we're going to represent. Who's ever giving us the most money, that's who we're going to represent. That's basically what the article is saying. And they're being specific and only talking about progressive rights, things that are of a progressive, culturally progressive nature. But again, they support and they push and they will defend some foolishness. I mean, some of the cases I've seen them defend, I mean, it's literally foolish. But Here's another quote that she says. She says, I understand that it is to be the ACLU's goal to delicately balance competing rights to ensure that any infringements are narrowly tailored, that they do not create a hierarchy of rights, and they are mindful of unintended consequences. I believe that there are solutions that can provide accommodations for transgender people and balance the need to ensure women and girls are safe from those who might have malicious intent. That was good. I like the way she said that. Because there are some out there that might have malicious intent with your female daughters and your wives and your sisters and your mothers in those bathrooms. It happens, and the cases are already out there. But yet somehow the liberal media decides not to show these. But anyway, and let me tell you, and see, this is what happens when people like that now then tend to speak out against this stuff. This is what was said to her. This is what was said to her. A transgender activist, a biological male who goes by the name of Cheryl Courtney Evans. Cheryl Courtney Evans. That's her name. That's his name that he's calling himself. Psychological problem. We're not going to get into all that right now. Responded to Dillard Smith's resignation by calling her, listen to this, lazy, ill-educated, and a bitch who needs to sit down and STFU. And you know what STFU means. Shut the, You know, so this is what the transgender activist said. Mind you, now this person is giving, Miss Dillard is giving her opinion of how she feels, but yet she's ill-educated, she's the lazy one, and she's a B, and she needs to sit the F up. I mean, really. Now, now the activists, again, they're the victims. Again, they're the victims, but they're telling her to shut the F up and cussing this woman out. And this woman took her children into the bathroom, and this is how they felt. And the children came out visibly upset about what happened. Now, for them to say that she's dumb, let me read you her credentials. She is well educated. She's earned a degree in economics from Berkeley and a master's degree at Harvard. So she's not that stupid. I mean, really, she's not that ill-educated to get a master's degree at Harvard. She's not that ill-educated. I mean, really. And she's a liberal Democrat. I mean, if anyone's going to be on your side, transgenders is a liberal Democrat. I mean, really. See, but that's the foolish victim mentality that they play. But anyway, until she resigned, she was one of the youngest ACLU directors in the nation and only one of the 3 African Americans employed by the ACLU in that role. The woman knew her stuff and she did her thing, and now she's like, no, this transgender stuff doesn't make any sense. So you know what? I'm gonna change my stance and my view on this. And now, here's another one. The state's new education is starting to teach transgenderism to kindergartners. Kindergartners, y'all. Kindergartners. Now, this is for the Washington State Office and Superintendent of Public Instruction. They formulated a new curriculum related to health and fitness that includes human sexuality. I don't get it. Kids don't need to be learning about human sexuality at 2 and 3 and 4 years old and this and that and in kindergarten. Why? Why are they doing that? I mean, really, what is the point? What is the point? But this is the agenda that's been started from a long time ago, and I can't remember the name of the group, and I'm going to post the links to all this below, but I can't remember the name of the group. Is it GLESN, Glisten? But they're a group that has went into the school system over the past, since the gay quote-unquote revolution has started, went into the school system and started infiltrating the schools with all this misinformation. And so now this is why you have all of these safe zones in school and all this bullying stuff, because they operate out of this whole spirit of let's make it safe for everybody, and victimizing a certain group. And so therefore we got to have protection for this particular group, and therefore then you can come in, and because you've now gotten into the emotional side of everything, then you can come in and start laying down the tracks for your next step and indoctrinating grade school kids, high school kids, and so forth. But yeah, it's completely ridiculous. Now, I want to give a shout out, although I don't support this group, but I have to give them a little shout out. The National Black Church Initiative, they are actually standing with the governor, Pat McCrory, and the state of North Carolina, declaring that transgenders not be allowed to use the bathroom of the opposite sex, of their biological sex, and say they are prepared to sue the homosexual community if it tries to test them. In other words, they say, don't test me, bro, because if you try something and you try something against our churches, then we're going to sue you. Because you're a grown man with a psychological issue and you're trying to go into the women's restroom. That's not happening at our church. We're not going to have that. That stuff is not going down like that. And it shouldn't go down like that. But your president, you know, your president, Barack Hussein Obama, insane Obama, that's what it needs to be called. But, you know, I'm going to stay off the man. I don't have anything against him personally. I have something against his policies. Is he the Antichrist? You know, I don't know. But I'm telling you, he sure is ushering in the door for the Antichrist to walk right into it. I'm telling you, man, he has opened that door. Because all this stuff has to happen. And that's the thing, people. All this stuff has to happen first in order for the man of perdition to come. In order for the son of evil, the seed of Satan to come and manifest himself. So all of this stuff has to go down. All this has to happen. So if you're a believer, you don't even have to worry about it, because you know in the end we are winning and we are on top of things. And if you're a discerning Christian, just know what's going on. Don't sleep on what's happening. Warn your kids, warn your family, warn like Dodson said, they're coming after your family, they're coming after your husband, they're coming after your wives, they're coming after everybody. So anyway, but yeah, so this stuff is just really crazy. But I have to give it to the MBCI for standing up, and they are saying some really good stuff. You know, in terms of how they see what the gay community, and this is what Reverend Anthony Evans, who is the president of the National Black Church Initiative, he says, this is beyond ridiculous. I agree with you right there, brother. Here's another example of why it is very difficult to reach any accommodation with the gay community as they continue to push society in a way that allows them to set the morality of this culture. And they're really doing that. They are trying to set the morality of the culture and tell everybody else how they're supposed to feel, how everyone else is supposed to feel, and setting the tone and setting the language and everything. But I'm telling you, those homosexuals, they are in high places. And let me tell you something. I have nothing against gay folks, because I'm sure a gay person is going to look at this video and say I'm hateful and bashing and this and that. From one ex-homosexual to probably a current homosexual, I know what God can do, and I know how God can change, and I know how God can deliver you. However, you got to make the choice. You got to make the choice. I don't hate people who are coming out of that lifestyle, who are in that lifestyle. My heart goes to you, because I know what Jesus Christ can do. I know what Jesus Christ, and I use that term ex-homosexual just for political reasons. I'm a man and child of God. That's my title. That's what it is. A father, a husband, and all that good stuff. Those are the titles that I own and I walk in. Because all that other stuff ain't nothing but foolishness. There's nothing but political foolishness to get people divided. That's what it is. The political foolishness to get people divided. But anyway, I'm going to continue reading, because I'm now about to get into a good testimony and a shouting service. Anyway, so he goes on to say, the church will have none of this. This is why we stand with Governor Pat McCrory and the state of North Carolina on HB2. The church will never allow a gay male individual to utilize the women's restroom in our churches. We will only allow them to use the bathroom according to their biological sex. And we are prepared to sue the gay community if they try to encroach on the authority of the church by trying to use us as a test constitutional case in our own churches. Bro, you said that. You said that if you try to use us as a test constitutional case in our churches, we're going to come for you. We're going to come for you. That's what he said. We're going to put it down. So if you want to go toe to toe, we're going to go toe to toe. But you're not going to come in our bathrooms and try to use HB2 and all that kind of stuff and try to twist it on his head. And I think I've said enough. But yeah, y'all, this stuff is really going down. Stay close to the cross. Stay close to Jesus Christ. If you don't know him, he's the only way to the Father. He can change your life. And I don't announce that as a oh yeah, it's just a giver of gifts and all of that kind of stuff. No, when he comes in, he changes your life over a course of time. Surely but immediately your spirit is quickened. But this is James with the I'm Free Project. I'm not going to get into a preaching sermon. God bless you. Jesus Christ is Lord. Peace.